talk about 2022 and let's see. Let me share some of the shit that happened this year. Let's talk about it. Before I start, I'm gonna take a shot. Cheers. Happy New Year. My mom didn't teach me about money. She didn't. I think my biggest memory about money from my mom was like watching her have $0 in her bank account and still finding a way to give that money out to people. I remember she would tell me, this was the thing about money in our family. She would say, like, money is there for a reason, but you can always like give, right? So if your money funnel comes in 3 ways, you have money in your palm and your elbow and your shoulder, and the money just replenishes anyhow. So like no matter what, money would always replace these limbs. And so you can always still give because money would always find a way of coming. And that was what I learned. That was literally my entire teaching about money. And you guys, in 2022, I owed $75,000. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna tell y'all. $75,000 is how much I owed this year. I did not realize that I couldn't spend and spend and spend. And 2022 was the year that I had to literally dive headfirst into what it was to be an adult who was financially responsible. And it sucked. It was hard. I feel like I've never spoken to my mom about this, or anybody really, about how hard it is to be in financial depression and how tough it is to not have horrible spending habits but still not understand how to take care of money. I was that person who would never look at my statement. Like, I would never look at my billing statement, my bank statement. I would just spend. If the money comes, it comes. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out. And this year I went full-time as a content creator, and so I didn't have the stability of a 9-to-5 anymore. And when I tell you, it shook me to my core. I had days where I didn't know where rent was coming from, but I lived in a high-rise apartment in the nation's capital. And I was online smiling and laughing, and nobody knew that I could be on the street in a few seconds. I had days where I couldn't afford to eat, but yet I would borrow money to give to friends, to put up the perception of I still got it. I had days, where I would look at my bank account and I would pray that money came in, and it didn't. And I would cry and cry, and I wouldn't want to be here anymore because I just felt stupid. Being an entrepreneur is crazy. It's insane. And it sucks because people would look at me online and they'll be like, oh, she's thriving in her fancy apartment with her new car and all of this yada, yada, yada. And I'll be looking at them and go, should I be thriving? Am I doing something wrong? Is it me? I didn't have the tools. I didn't know anything. So I was in debt, you guys, this year. I confess. Here it is. That's my sin. I was in debt in 2022. There was a time in this past year, because you're watching this January 1st, 2023. Trigger warning. There was a time this past year where I woke up and I looked at everything around me and I thought to myself, what if this all went away and I didn't exist anymore? 2022 was the year that I really understood when people say like, oh, I have anxiety, oh, I have depression. So I wasn't equipped. Like, I've had bouts of anxiety, but I think coupled with the debt and a lot of things that happened this year, I don't know. I felt different. As someone who's living alone for the first time as an extrovert, my tagline was the girl who was always smiling. Every time. Everybody knew me as Sofi, who was always like, da 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 da, boom, and you got, I was, if you watch any of my old videos, there was such a light about me. And in hold on a second. This was me, gone. The light was non-existent. It was gone. I literally searched and tried to find meaning to my purpose, and I had no explanation. I would just feel sad. People always talk about like a quarter life crisis, and I feel like as I turned 25, it all just hit me. Like everything I was doing wrong and everything I was doing right didn't matter, because all I thought about was everything I was doing wrong. And so I had to come to terms with the fact that like I have anxiety and I have mild depression. I like to say mild because that's I had to come to terms with my mental health and how important it is to have a very healthy mental health. I didn't want to wake up anymore and not exist and not be happy. I'd never had to work for my happiness. I just simply existed and I was happy. And for one of the first times in my life, I had to confront the intentionality behind living a happy life. Because people used to say like happiness is devoid of reality, right? Happiness is you being happy without understanding what the reality of the situation is. And I feel like when I left my 9-to-5, when I fully worked into my purpose, right? I realized I can't just be happy. Like you work for happiness, but when you're truly happy, that word comes really, really easy. And for me, it was uncomfortable that somebody who never had to work for it felt like they had to now, you know? 2022 was the year of broken relationships for me. It really was. Like in a weird way, it was interesting. I don't know how to explain it. Like I've had my fair share of horrible relationships. Like if you've been following the story times I used to share on here, I had story times for days about how I used to be bullied as a kid. And at 25 years old, you would think I wouldn't be bullied anymore. And I don't think I'm bullied anymore. I think as a kid, I always wanted that like sisterhood type relationship because I don't really have any intimate sisters. Or I wanted like the friend group, the girl group. And so what I did was have zero boundaries. Zero boundaries. I feel like I learned friendships are very intentional. And I lost a lot of people to a lack of intentionality in my friendships this year. And it sucked. It felt like, and I think that's what also coupled with my anxiety was not having anyone to share it with. Like my mom didn't know that I've, gone full time. So I had no family support. And it was just weird feeling like an island. And everybody on that island was out to get you. Like, oh my God, Lord of the Flies? Is it Lord of the Flies? I think it's Lord of the Flies. The one where the boys try to kill each other. That's how I felt. I was an island and everybody was trying to get me. It wasn't fun losing people who you thought would be like godfather and godmother to your children. It wasn't fun losing an aspect of yourself in a relationship that you don't know if you'd ever get back. It just wasn't fun, you know? I did the stupidest thing I could have done. I knew I was sick or something was wrong, and I chose to put my work first. And I went on a brand trip. And on that brand trip, I had to have emergency appendectomy because my appendix almost burst. And if you're watching this, at the end of this video, this part will make so much sense, but September 2022, I feel like was the turning point in my life. I had my surgery September 2022. I had my surgery, my emergency surgery. And that surgery was the thing that was like a ha-ha moment. I had to like literally sit down and ask myself like, what are you working towards? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Because I had just done the stupidest thing. I was alone in the state with no friends around me, and I was about to go through surgery, and I was so scared. And it felt weird because I started this journey as an entrepreneur with social media, and never in a million years would I have thought I would be where I am now, and like you guys are watching me. But I also would have never thought I would feel so much anxiety and stress over being a content creator. This was fun for me, and then now it's work. And so this was the year where I had to take a step back and look within and look at myself and go, what do I want? And it's really hard. I know there's always conversations about like content creators and how people are and the allure and the money. And you guys, there's so much money within content creation, and the allure is amazing, and the people you meet and the things you do is incredible. But I feel like there'll be conversations, and I feel like I don't want to sound like I'm either bragging or downplaying like the incredible thanks I feel to you guys for supporting me. But people don't talk as much about the mental toll social media brings, and the what's the word I want to use? How unequipped young people are to the dangers of social media, to what it actually means to be an entrepreneur. No one, yeah, I went viral on TikTok by sharing shit with you guys. I do fashion videos, I do lifestyle videos, I do all this stuff. But what in God's name is a W-2 or W-4 or W-9? I don't even know what that tax form is. What is an LLC? What is a strategy? What is a business mission? It's all of that stuff is stuff you have to learn, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to take things seriously. So 2022 was the year where like the person who thought she knew everything was humbled. Oh, yo, I was so humbled. I had to realize that I do not know S-H-I-T about nothing. And that was really hard to come to terms with, because for someone who had been in school all her life and who thought she was prepared for like what it means to go out on her own, I wasn't prepared. In 2022, I was debt free. Woo! I was freaking debt free. I said, wait a minute, pause. Are you mad? Are you mad, Sophie? No, you're not, babes. I was debt free. But the thing is, if you're wondering, you're like, Sophie, what are you spending money on? How are you making money? Let's talk about it. So I'm a content creator, right? And typically brands pay anywhere from net 30, which is like they pay you 30 days after they get an invoice or something, or net 60 or net 90. So that's like on the entrepreneur side. That's how I make primarily, that's how I make my income. I get other incomes through like YouTube, which is not a lot. So subscribe to my channel. But I get a lot of income from YouTube, and that was it. So already I wasn't setting myself up for success. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I wasn't. I was making money, but I wasn't smart enough about like, if a brand doesn't pay me today, this influencer industry is so new that you don't know if they're gonna pay you tomorrow or in 10 days or in 50 days, you just don't know. So your girl I wasn't spending money, because if anyone knows me, you know, I don't buy Gucci, I don't spend frivolously, I don't travel unless it's for work. I never spent money on me, but I gave out a lot of my money. I gave it to friends, I supported people, I spread myself too thin because I was trying to put up I don't even want to say a persona, I don't know what I was trying to live up to, but I had to realize quickly that priority in the world is me. So I preach self-love every day. Self-love starts with financial responsibility and an understanding of your own self and what you can give and what you shouldn't be giving. If y'all want some more videos about like finance stuff, talking about like what I spend, how I spend my money, let me know in the comments. But I'm gonna start looking into investments and stocks and a 401k and a Roth IRA. Not me using finance words. Look at me. I go accountant. Today is December 31st, 2022, and I can proudly say that I am debt free and I have a very, very much a better relationship. I have a better relationship with money than I've ever had in my entire life. I can look at my bank statements and confront how to budget, what to spend money on. And I'm not stiff. I don't force myself into something I don't want to do. And so yeah, ka-ching, look at me. Money guru, smart money woman, period. Guess who is in therapy? Oh wait. I knew I still wanted to be here, and I knew that my potential was greater than anything that my mind could even imagine. Like, I just knew that, like, the world was my freaking oyster. Like, once I got my mind right and my body right, there was no way in heck, there's no way I wouldn't flourish and thrive. So I started therapy, and it was the best decision I ever did. And I started building better habits. Anxious feelings come mostly for me from a lack of planning and organizing, and I knew that. Like, I knew that every time I woke up in the morning, because I had no strict schedule, the thoughts of everything I needed to do was so overwhelming. I would rather stay in bed and sleep. I started going to the freaking gym. I know. And when I go to those self-help books, it's like, oh my God, go to the gym. Yes, I did. I have gains. See it? I started going on longer walks. I started journaling, and I did the easy journal, so it was going to be easy to like graduate to bigger journals. I literally made sure everything I was doing was tailored to me. I feel like the biggest thing we all do is we see big picture. Like, you hear people say you should manifest, you should journal, you should do this, you should do that, and then you don't even know what that means. You're just doing, right? But I was like, okay, well, if I want to go to the gym, I'm going to start with just going to gym classes, because I know that's what Sophie is going to enjoy. If I'm going to go to therapy, I'm going to start with an easily accessible therapist. I'm going to be very transparent with her about things I need, and that really helped me, guys. So shout out to being in a better place mentally, allowing yourself to falter if need be, but putting things in place to allow you to be the best version of yourself. Like, I'm the girl who is always smiling, but I'm also the girl who's always smiling who sometimes cries a lot or is sometimes overwhelmed or is sometimes unhappy. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna smile again. And that's the one thing I never want to like let go of. It's like, there's a childlike happiness that I still have that I want to keep and protect. And working out, eating better, journaling, going to therapy, being intentional with friendships has made me it's probably in a better place, and it feels really good. Yay. When I tell you, with friendships and relationships, I found it hard to have healthy boundaries, to value my opinion over other people. And when I tell you, towards the end of the year, your girl was over here like, no, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. Actually, I'm okay. Actually, I'd rather not. I was over here just giving out no's here and there. I was just like, I have healthy boundaries now. I am very careful about what I share with people. I'm very intentional about what I do. And it feels really good to be protective of myself. Because I feel like very few people actually are protective of themselves. Like, you feel like selfish choosing you first. And I realize it's not selfish, because if I'm selfish, then I can pour into myself enough to where, like, if you need me, I can show up for you 100 million times better. And so I learned quickly that the key to healthier friendships, healthier relationships, was healthy boundaries with a huge dose of self-love. Like, the biggest dose I can think of self-love, because it just helped me be a better person to my friends, to myself, to my freaking self. I think this year, after turning 25, was the moment I accepted that I was officially an adult. Oh! So I learned that this year, and I also learned that, like, my journey wasn't anybody else's but mine. Like, I realized with social media, with family, with myself, it was my journey to be on and nobody else's. And if I wanted to succeed, the dreams I have to be intentional about my life. I have to manifest. I have to visualize. I have to work for it. I can smile all I want, but I can also smile while doing the work. What do I want for 2023? What am I hoping for? 2023, I'm excited for growth, for success, for intentionality, for joy, for happiness. I am so proud of everything I learned this year. The good, the bad, the ugly, the sucky, the stressful. Everything that has made me Sophie right now, I'm so grateful for. It's weird to say, right? I'm so grateful for it. Typically when you think about change, you think, I'm gonna wait for the new year. I'm gonna wait for January 1st. I'm gonna wait for November 1st, a new month. I'm gonna wait. And I said, you know what? Why don't I start now? What's holding me back? What's holding you back? If you're watching this and your new year started off weird, you were disappointed you didn't do something you thought you were gonna do, if you're stressed out already about what the new year could potentially be, you can't wallow in the stress of what could have been and what should have been. You can start right now. I'm starting right now. Work can start January 2nd. It can be January 3rd. It can be September 21. It can be November 1st. It can be December 31st, 2023. All of that freaking matters is that you get up and you start. And so all I wish for my 2023 is that every single day I get up and I start and I do. And I smile and I'm happy and I'm content, and I know it's gonna be so freaking hard, but I don't know. Adulting in life is hard, isn't it? It's like weird. It's weird, but it's also special because you're the only person that gets to live your life. So why not make the most of it? Why not flourish and enjoy and have fun, try new things? So 2023 is my year of trying every single thing I want to do. I want to travel more. I want to make more money. I want to be I want to be successful with social media and my business. I want to launch exciting things. I want to be me. I think I'm going to kill it. We'll see. We'll check in next year, December 31st, 2023, and we'll see how 2023 went for me. I feel like I'm betting on myself this time, and I'm thinking it's going to be fucking epic. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye!